Okay, good day. Welcome back to the channel. And what you're about to see today is the rebuild of the engine on the 335. And I will share with you right now the ending. It's not all bad, but I am going to have to take it down again. I got through a start without coolant. Everything seemed good. I went to put the coolant in, and what happened is the seal on the water pipe in between the two heads must not have seated properly, because I've got coolant coming out of in between the two blocks, and I know it's not the cylinders, because that was fine the last time. So I'm gonna have to pull the heads off again, put another O-ring in, try to get the thing seated. It's really tough because you just don't know until you start filling it. And then I've got this plug on the end, this frost plug, that didn't seal quite right. And then it looks like even the water pump tube and the upper radiator tube, those didn't seal up either. So the good news is I don't think we have any crack issues anymore. So once I get those leaks fixed and get this thing sealed up, I think we're going to be good. I don't have a fear that there's going to be something I didn't anticipate in the engine. So I just hope that these copper gaskets can handle another tear down and retorque, but they should. Okay, got the heads back in, we've got the carrier back over the heads, and we've got two of the head bolts started just to keep everything secure and in place. We're going to put the rest of the head bolts in, and the trick with that is we're going to put them in and we're going to just snug them up, and we're not going to tighten them until we put the studs in for the exhaust and intake manifold. Because this is two separate jugs, we want to make sure that we get that on so that it flushes this edge square to where the intake wants to be, and then we tighten it down, because this is going to want to move a little bit to make sure that that gasket area gets flushed. So we'll go ahead and put all of these head bolts in. That's what I thought. Getting the cart before the horse. Now we can snug that one down. All right, now that they're all in, I'm gonna go half a turn back on all of them just to make sure that there's still freedom for these jugs to move independently. Okay, now we'll put the studs in for the intake. Okay, got the studs for the exhaust manifold. Now these aren't the original ones. I got these off McMaster Car, and I like them because I don't have to do the lock nut thing at the end. I can actually put a wrench on there. Never chased these, so I'm feeling like I forgot that I never ran a tap into these two just to chase the threads out, so they were rusty. I thought maybe there was a broke off stud in there, but there's not, so I chased it out. Got all of our studs in, and next I'll grab the manifold after I clean off a little bit of oil I used. Manifold gaskets. Okay. And the retention plates and the nuts. now that we finished our tightening process on the intake and exhaust manifold, and what we were looking to do was get this all even, so we get even pressure on the gasket and we don't have any gasket leaks. Now we can go through and we can do the torque sequence on all of these head bolts to get this head torqued back down onto the gaskets. Alright, so we can see here is our torque sequence. Sorry if there's a glare from the light, but we need to be at 95 to 100 pounds. And we're starting in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4, and just working our way out. We'll probably do that in 3 phases. We'll bring it up to about 30 pounds, and then we'll go 60 pounds, and then we'll go all the way up to the final 95-ish pounds. Okay, so I'm set at 35. All right, here we go. One. Two. Three. Four. Five. Six. Seven. Eight. Nine. 10. 11. 12. Now I lost count. I think I'm here. 13. 14. 15. 16. 17. 18. Okay, we'll go back through at 65 pounds. Okay, we'll go up to the final 95. That's 90. That's 95. Okay, we're happy at 95 pounds. Onto the valve train. I got my push rods right here. I'm going to try to keep them in order of how they came out. There's one. Two. Three. 4. 5. 6. 7. And number 8. Okay. Now we're going to put in the studs for the tappets. Oh, you know what? I didn't tap those, and I need to do that, or these will really go in hard. This is the new used head, and I never chased those threads, and I need to do that because if I try to put those standoffs in there with the rust that's built up in there, we'll break one off for sure. So we're just going to chase this through, get that all cleaned up, cut out. Okay, let's see if that makes a difference. Oh yeah. Turns right in by hand now. That's why I like to chase just about every hole that I do, because it makes it so much easier. Okay, now we're going to put on the valve train. Which is easier said than done. Come on. There we go. There we go. So we're not seated all the way. What's going on here? Where am I hung up? There we go. There we go. Yeah, and we have to readjust. We're not all the way down yet either. There we go. I don't know what that last little bit of... Now we're down. Okay. Okay, I got the valve train cinched down. Just got to go back through with the lock nuts. And then we can back off the lock nuts and we can set our gap. Okay. Okay. I had to take the valve train loose again because I forgot about our little oil feed line. And that unfortunately has to go in through the bottom. So luckily I didn't... Oops, I forgot. Luckily I didn't set any of the gaps on our valves. Because yeah, this has to come up so I can get this guy in. Right. Right there. Okay. There we go. Okay. Now we can run it back down again. Okay, now we can move on. Grab the screwdriver. And we're going to go ahead and break all these open so we can reset them. The intakes get set to 10 hundredths and the exhaust gets set to 18 hundredths. But that is when it's hot. So I'm going to set them, and then after I've run it for a while, I'll take the cover off and check them and set them again. An intake at 10. Okay. And an exhaust. Oh, I'm sorry, that's an intake. That is an intake. That's an exhaust, but that's depressed, so we have to crank the engine over to get that one and that one. We can do this intake. Alright, now I just have to go through and snug up the keeper nuts. Okay, everything is seated and happy. The standoffs for the valve cover. The gasket for the valve cover. Actually, I think it goes this way. And the valve cover for the valve cover. Gasket sliding around. Okay, we're happy there. Get the carburetor remounted. Throttle linkage governor hooked up. Gotta find my cotter pin. And we don't have a choke to worry about because we never had that part done. And we'll get our muffler mounted. Right. Okay, went ahead and did a bunch of stuff off camera. I got the temporary tank put back on, so if we get an opportunity to start this thing today or tomorrow, we can do that. And then I got the air tube for the carburetor put back on. I got the upper radiator hose and pipe put back in. Around to this side, I got spark plugs put back in. I got spark plug wires put back on. I got the coil put back on, and then I put fresh oil in it. So I've got this bung here that I have to fill yet. I don't have the right fitting, so I'm gonna have to go to the hardware store and pick that up. And that's obviously for the temperature sensor. But before I fill it with antifreeze, I have to get that plugged. And then I've got the belt. I have an alternator. If we get to the point where we fill this thing and it's got the coolant fills up the way that it's supposed to and doesn't run out the muffler like it did last time, then I will go ahead and put the alternator on to tension the belt so that the water pump will run, and then we can actually get this thing out and driving. So I'll bring you back when we're closer to that. Alright, so that's going to be it for this one. I'm not going to put the tear down rebuild on again. I'm just going to do it, and then when I have it done, I'll come back to hopefully a video that it's out and driving. Yeah, I'm definitely going to wait probably for a Saturday to do it all at one time, and it won't be probably within the next 2 weeks because I'm pretty busy. But that's where we're going to end it for the 335 this time. Thanks for watching, everybody, and I really hope that the next 335 video we're going to have this thing out and rolling and show some serious progress. Alright, that's it. Take your foot off the clutch. Thanks, everybody.